Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swinging a line drive into right field, base hit. Coming across and scoring is Tyrone Taylor, and Nick Shaw provides the walk-off tonight.
What's up, guys? Nick Shaw from the Baseball Box, the monthly subscription box shipped to your door, loaded with baseball apparel, goodies, and everything baseball. Shipped for 1 month or every month, whatever you choose. Also, former Brewer, here to talk to you about the daily game routine in pro baseball. I didn't even think about sharing this until I was asked this question on a Zoom call with a university I had recently, and they asked me that exact question, and I thought, you know what, that's pretty cool. I didn't know what that was like before I was drafted, so why not share? And here I am sharing this with you. Okay, I'm going to give you the basic rundown of a game routine that I did on a home game. Okay, and normal home games for us were 7 o'clock, so we would have to show up at 2 o'clock. Before then, it was all what you wanted to do. Okay, you can wake up whenever you want, you can eat whatever you want. As long as you show up at 2 o'clock, there were no questions asked for the most part. Okay, my routine was wake up 9:30, 10 o'clock. I used to go to Starbucks, sit down with my laptop, get a coffee, get some breakfast, and kind of dig into some numbers and some videos of baseball, of my swing, my numbers, to kind of use that to help improve my game and to motivate myself. You know, sometimes you're struggling, you need to look back at what you're doing good or why you're going bad. You know, what the numbers tell you, what you need to do to get out of that slump, whatever it may be, okay? Or to just keep going and you know, stay in the hot streak you might be in, okay? After I would do that, I would kind of take some time to myself at the apartment and kind of take my mind off of baseball. You know, watch some TV, play some card games with the roommates, go to the pool, do something to take your mind off of the game. Now, I wouldn't go and spend hours at the pool. I would spend maybe a half hour, 45 minutes at the pool, maybe in the shade, little sun, little shade, but I wouldn't burn myself out completely because you got a long day ahead of you, okay? That about brought me to time to go to the field at 2 o'clock. And from there, I'll give you a basic rundown of the schedule. Then I'll dig into what was going on during that time. So from 2 to about 3:30, you had early work going on, whether that's in the gym, on the field, in the batting cage, or pitcher stuff that also happened on the field, a little running work, whatever that might have been for the day. Early work was from 2 to 3:30. From 3:30 to 5, you had your BP slot, batting practice slot, out on the game field. From 5 to about 6:30, you had time back in the clubhouse to eat, to do whatever you wanted to get ready for the game. And then 6:30, you had to be back out for a stretch, okay, a little pregame prep stretch work. And then obviously at 7 o'clock, the game started. Normally lasts about 3 hours. So from 7 to 10, you're playing a game. And then after that, you know, shower, whatever you need to do. If you had pitched that day, you have some rotator cuff stuff to do in the weight room. And then you get out of there. A lot of times you'll leave the field around 10:45, 11 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Now, if you think about it, you show up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and you leave at 11 p.m. after the game. That's a long day. Okay, so it was a pretty long day out there, not just on the field, but with the prep work and everything. It's a long day. Now, I'll dig into what was going on. From 2 to 3:30, like I said, you had early work. For me, I was an infielder, middle infielder. So I would always go in the cage for maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I didn't want to overdo it because a lot of times there were other guys in there. And like I said, you have a long day to come, so you only want to take swings to get ready for the game, to feel good. As soon as I felt good, I was out of the cage. Okay, I didn't need to take 100 swings. A lot of times it might have been 20 swings, 25 swings. Again, to get good and loose, feel good, and get out of there. Infielders normally had early work at 3 o'clock. Okay, so from 3 to 3:30, we were on the field working on specific movement or a specific play, whether that be double play turns, plays in the hole, routine balls thrown to first, whatever that may have been. That was the infielders' early work time from 3 to 3:30. Okay, you're getting ground balls, getting a lot of reps there. At 3:30, you had a stretch. Okay, the athletic trainer would come out and the strength trainer, and they would run you through a stretch for about 20 to 25 minutes. Pretty extensive stretch. That's not the first time you're going to hear me say that. After that, after your stretch, you had BP. Okay, and you would hit normally for about an hour. The starters would hit first in the first two groups, and then the third group would be guys that were coming off the bench that day or maybe not playing, or the starting pitcher for the next day, since we're a National League team and the pitchers hit starting in AA. That's how BP would go. For me, like I said, not to dig in too much into the BP round and stuff, how that worked, but I was a contact guy. I needed to bunt, move runners, so I would work on that during my BP rounds, and the last round kind of worked gap to gap. When I was not hitting, I was at my position. I actually fielded balls off of the live hitter to get some game speed reps and to get some game-like spin of the ball. And what I mean by that is a batted ball on the ground normally has topspin. So I wanted to field that as many times as I could. That way in a game when the topspin came, I was ready for it. Fungos, a lot of times, fungo hitters will try to get it to you nice and pretty, and they'll have backspin. Okay, backspin ground balls are easier to catch. You don't see them much in the game, and they tend to stay down nice and easy for the infielder. So after BP was done, we would head in for that slot from 5 to 6:30. Now, you would always have a spread out. As soon as you came in, you'd have a spread of food. Okay, you would go there, grab whatever you need. A lot of times it was fruit, things that weren't going to weigh you down too much. That way you were ready for the game to come. During that time as well, if you weren't in the starting lineup, it was a great time to get a workout in. So grab some spread, get a little bit of food in you, head to the weight room, get a good workout in for maybe 30, 45 minutes. Again, you're not trying to kill yourself in the weight room at that point during the season. You're trying to maintain what you have, because next day there's a good chance that you're going to play. So we don't want to get too into a workout, be sore and tight the next day when it's game time and you need to play. After that, you still have some time left. Okay, say you're playing in the game, you grab some spread, you still have about an hour until it's time to head to the field again at 6:30. So a lot of us would play cards, watch TV, hang out in the training room, you know, kind of get loose and take your mind a little bit off the game. Some guys would watch baseball on TV, you know, they're pretty locked in. But that's kind of time to yourself again, do your routine to get you ready for the game. Also, during that time, you would always have a hitting meeting, and they would have a pitcher's meeting as well. The pitcher's meeting would go over the lineup for that team, normally the first day of that road trip or of that homestand. You would go and have a pitcher's meeting. That way you knew how to approach each hitter in their lineup, what they like to do, where their weaknesses are, their strengths are. You would go over that stuff. And the hitter's meeting would go over the pitcher that day. So you would have a hitter's meeting every day with the hitting coach, and they would go over what he had. If he's a fastball slider guy, his fastball's 94, 96, his slider is 86, 88, whatever it might be, okay? And you would also have video on the guy just to kind of show you the ball coming out of his hand, what the ball does, to try to give you as much information as you possibly could have going into the game, okay? And a lot of times in those hitters meetings, you would find out catchers' tendencies on pitch calling, because there's a good chance there's a prospect catcher or a catcher that starts a lot of the times and he calls his own game. So I want to know just as much about the pitcher as I want to know about the catcher, because a lot of times the catcher is going to call that game, and he might get shaken off a few times, but a lot of times he's dictating the game. All right, I would stay in that meeting room a little bit longer, get with a video guy and work on some base running there. Okay, and what I mean by that is there's always a camera set up to watch the pitcher from the side. Okay, imagine you're on first base, there's always a camera back in the bleachers watching him from that angle. That way, as a base runner, I can see any little thing he does that would give me an indication now's the time to go. Okay, so as many reps as I could get seeing a ball out of the pitcher's hand and seeing the pitcher deliver, imagining him on first base, any information I could get before the game, I would use that in the game so I didn't have to learn the pitcher during the game. I already had his tendencies, his first move when he went to the plate, based on the video that I watched, okay, during those meetings. After that time at 6:30, it's time to stretch again. I told you I would say that again. You go through a stretch on your own once you get to a certain level, and again, that's 15-20 minutes of stretching again. So we've stretched for about 50 minutes, close to an hour before we've even stepped foot in the batter's box or on the game field for the game itself. Okay, so this is something you can learn at a young age. Get into a stretch routine, because it is very, very important. And why it's important, for various reasons, but the most important reason for me was what I saw as soon as guys started to get hurt in the organization, their days were limited. Okay, they wanted guys that were healthy, they knew they could depend on, that were going to take the field and be out there, be healthy for them. Okay, so stretch, get into a stretch routine at home. That way you're ready for that, and you stay healthy, limber, and more athletic, overall, like I said, for various other reasons. Then it was game time. All right, you use all the knowledge and information you got from the videos, whatever, past experiences. Maybe you keep a hitter's notebook. You use all that stuff into the game. All right, you know, and that's kind of a shortcut I had. Hitter's notebook, videos. It helped me be pretty successful, more successful than I would have been had I just gone out there with no information. After the game itself, like I said, shower, head out, or work out if you need to, and that was basically it. You know, you get home at 11:15, 11:30 after leaving the field at say 11, and then you kind of hang with your roommates a little bit till it's time to go to sleep and do it all over again. You know, so that was my game routine on a home game. Granted, it changes a little bit when you're on the road, but not too much. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you can take something, you know, like I said, start stretching, get a step ahead on that whole process. And if you don't want to do that, hey, maybe you're ready for when you get a chance to get drafted and live that pro ball life. Okay, thanks guys. Like I said, I'm the owner of the Baseball Box. I'll leave the link in the comment section below if you want to grab one for a ball player you may love. And drop down in the comments. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and what you want to learn about next. All right, thanks guys.